The invention of printing press, as seen through Gutenberg's movable type, initiated the revolution of a predominantly oral-based society to a written society. However, Elizabeth Eisenstein discusses the theory that this transition was due to a set of processes and innovations rather than one singular invention. Nevertheless, through a combination of Gutenberg's invention and Eisenstein's multiple processes, an understanding of the evolution of printing press up to today's modern society can be made. Eisenstein allows for four main processes to categorize the transition to a written-based society. The first being an increased output of information through printing press. Gutenberg's invention of movable type allowed for the possibility of text to be mass-produced, therefore alluding to Eisenstein's first process of increased output. Niall Postman states that 50 years after printing press was invented, more than 8 million books had been printed. This huge demand for books therefore displays how Gutenberg's invention of movable type has revolutionized printing press. Therefore, movable type allowed for the facilitation of Eisenstein's theory of an increased output leading to transition of a written-based society. Eisenstein's second process was the standardization of information through exact replicas of texts. Through Gutenberg's invention of movable type, and thus an allowance for mass production, this process can be achieved. Gutenberg's printing of the first Bible allowed for numerous copies of the exact text to be accessible to the average person in their vernacular language. This allowed for literacy and standardization to be fostered within religion. Movable type was the first invention that allowed for the standardization of the Bible, and thus allowed for people to read the Bible themselves and create their own understandings. This consequently led to the average person being able to print posters, newspapers, and propaganda, which can be seen through the use of these text forms in the Protestant Revolution. Therefore, movable type initially created Eisenstein's theory of standardization in the Gutenberg Bible, allowing this to be extended to standardization in all text forms. Eisenstein's third and fourth processes are the reorganization and fixity of information, which through Gutenberg's movable type were easily cultivated. Through movable type's ability to mass-produce the increased output of information meant that there was an overflow and thus disorganization of information. Thus, there was a need for organization, which came in the form of chapter headings and storage systems such as libraries, allowing for Gutenberg's movable type to play a pivotal role in the initial development of numeracy and bookkeeping systems. Eisenstein's theory of fixity through printing press was also developed with the invention of movable type. Movable type allowed for information to be preserved in a written form, allowing for this information to be permanent, unlike the previous oral-based form of information communication. Therefore, movable type printing press emulates Eisenstein's print theory of reorganization and fixity, contributing to a change in society.